Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to write high quality, competitive academic CV. And I will urge you to watch this video to the end so that you can make the most out of what I'm going to explain, the tips and insight that will be useful to you in crafting a meaningful, competitive academic CV for academic jobs, for scholarship, for graduate school, master's, PhD, or any research related position, postdoc, and others. I'm going to be using a sample CV that has landed me different kinds of opportunity so that you can learn one or two things from how you can structure your own academic CV. It's something that you can write yourself, it's something that is easy to do. And I'll be sharing useful insight in this particular video. Stay tuned to the end. The very first thing that you have to remember is that it is called academic CV. Underline the word academic. You want to showcase your academic strength, your academic achievement, and things that are actually academic in nature, things that can show that you have adequate academic research skills that is relevant for the position that you're applying to. That's why it is called academic CV. Underline that word academic CV. And you have to meet up to that expectation to show your academic strength. What is also very, very important that you have to note is that when we talk about academic CV, is that it is highly, highly dependent on your journey. It is unique to you. That means that before you write your academic CV, you need to sit down and reflect how you can showcase your academic achievement, how you can tell us about your academic strength. That if anybody picks up your CV, they'll be able to see clearly your academic strength, your research strength, and things that are actually in line with that. It is very, very important that you look inward, you look at your journey. And some people sometimes they will say they don't have much things to put on their CV. I'm telling you that you have a lot of academic things to put on your CV. You've done a lot of academic things, whether directly or indirectly, that you can put on your CV that is going to strengthen your case for any opportunity that you're applying to. Remember, your CV is actually a reflection of you. It's not a one size fits all. It depends on your achievement and how you really want to structure it. There's no fixed structure. That's the main point I'm trying to make. There's no fixed structure. Some people they want grants, some people they've not won grants. So if you not won grants in your academic journey, you don't have to put grant on your CV. That's the whole point. Another important thing that you have to note before you start writing your own academic CV is to understand whether the organization or the institution that you are submitting your CV to, they have a specific style that they want from you. For instance, in certain institutions, they are going to give you the particular template. So you have to follow that template in writing your academic CV. In this video, I'm going to focus primarily on how you can craft academic CV. But please don't forget to also check if there's any template that the institution or the organization that you're submitted to actually wants you to follow. Let's get right into it. The very first thing when I open your CV, the very first thing I should see is the header, which will give me your details, which is basically your name, your phone number, your email address, your LinkedIn profile, or your Google Scholar profile, or your ResearchGate profile if you have one. The link to the profiles are actually optional. What they want to see basically is your name, your phone number, your email address, and sometimes some people will say address. You can put your address on your CV, but really it is not needed. It's not a must for you to do that. But remember what I said earlier, always check if there's any specification that the institution actually want from you. What is important is your details, your phone number, your email address. If you have LinkedIn profile, definitely you should have a LinkedIn profile. Put the link to your LinkedIn. If you have Google Scholar ResearchGate profile, put that on your CV. And you will notice that on my CV, you are not seeing anything like pictures. Please, if you have pictures on your CV, delete that picture now. As we speak, delete the picture from your CV. Picture is not needed when it comes to academic CV. You can only add picture if they want you to add or to put one. But generally, there's no need for you to put a picture on your CV. delete that picture. Delete the picture from your CV. Remember what I said, if they only request for it, they had one. In most cases, if there's no information or there's no particular style that they want you to follow for your CV, delete the picture as we speak. It is very, very important. And also, you may notice you don't see anything like sex, gender, or you don't see anything like religion on my CV. You don't see anything like age. If you have those things on your CV, delete them right now. Those things are not needed on your academic CV. Delete those information from your CV. Remember what I said, unless it is if it is specified that you should put those information. But in a standard academic CV, there's no need for you to put those unnecessary details like your sex or gender, your age, your religion. You don't need to put those things on your CV. Now, the next aspect of your CV is your education. Sometimes people will put information from their primary school till secondary school on their CV. Please, if you have that on your CV, delete it as we speak. If you have any information regarding your primary school or your secondary school or your nursery school on your CV, delete that information as we speak. It is very, very important. There's no need for that. What is important and what should you put on your CV is your tertiary education, which can be polytechnic, which can be an advanced diploma that you take in university, whether you have PhD, you have masters, you have your bachelor degree. That's what is important. You don't need to put any information that has to do with your primary school, your nursery school, or your secondary school. They are not needed. What is needed and what is important when we talk about academic CV is your tertiary education. And that's what you should have on your CV. When it comes to the education session or aspect of your academic CV, what is important is the name of the degree, the year, and the name of the university or the institution. And if you have a very good grade, you can also include your grade. But if the grade is not so good, just remove it from your CV. You don't need to mention that on your CV again. If you have third class, remove that. What is important, like I said, is the name of the degree, the university, and the year. You can also include the dissertation, the title of your dissertation, the advisor, and of course, you can also include the funding that you receive for that particular degree. Remember what I said earlier, there's no one size fits all. When you're writing academic CV, you are trying to showcase your research strength, you are trying to showcase your academic strength and achievements as much as possible. You can simply just put this information on your CV if you think it's going to spotlight you or show you in the best light as much as possible. What is important is you're trying to show your academic achievement, and this is going to be a very good way for you to actually show that. Another section that you can include in your CV is the research interest. You can decide to summarize your research interest to give an overview of your interest. And this is going to be a very good addition to your CV. But remember, you have to change it from time to time to suit the opportunity that you're trying to apply to or the opportunity that you're trying to get. This is meant to be changed from time to time and it is meant to be concise and compact as much as possible to showcase or highlight your research interest. Remember, this is an academic CV. I want to showcase, you want to spotlight as much as possible your interest. Another important aspect is your research and work experience. What have you done? And in this case, you want to put the year, you want to put the position, you want to put the organization and what you've done. And when you're writing what you've done, you're not just repeating what is in the job specification. What did you really do? Have you led a particular research? What did you really do in that particular position? And you can try to be detailed as much as possible to give overview of what you have done, the name of the institution, the year, and your position. Like I said earlier, please look inward to look at the possible achievement that you think is going to be relevant for an academic CV that you can highlight. It doesn't have to be an academic role. This is where some people actually get it wrong as well. They think they always have to put academic role on their CV to show academic achievement. No, you can put some other relevant role that has some experience that is relevant to academics. You can try to highlight those academic skills when you're writing the description. You can also have another section for other relevant experience that you don't really want to give too much details about. For instance, if you are an expert member or you're a member of a particular committee that is prestigious, you can add that. If you are a member of editorial board of a particular journal, you can put that. If you're an editor, you can put that on your CV as well. Other relevant experience that you think they have some possible academic impact or they can showcase your academic strength, you can definitely include that on your academic CV as well. Other relevant certification. I mean, you can look at all the courses that you've taken and the one that is relevant for the position or the opportunity that you're applying for. You can unpick to showcase your academic strength for the position that you are applying for. You can definitely put that. Another thing, if you are an academics, you're a lecturer, there can also be a session where you can talk about the students that you've supervised, the project, the title. You can also put that on your CV. Another thing that you can include on your CV is you can just put your skills, your research and professional skills. What can you do? You can try to put that on your CV. You can list them. For instance, if you can analyze data, someone can just look at your CV and be able to pick that, oh, okay, you can do this. Amazing. You don't assume you might want to put those skills on your CV to showcase them so that anyone can easily look at them and understand the skills that you have. And of course, make sure that the skills that you're going to add are definitely relevant to the position that you're applying for. Remember, there's no one size fits all. Try to modify your CV from time to time based on the opportunity, based on the position that you actually need that particular CV for. If you've talked somewhere or you facilitated a workshop, that shows your communication skills. You can have a session on that where you will list the things that you've done regarding training, regarding workshops that are actually relevant. If you have publication, you can just list them. Or if you have so many publications and you can even split them. So in my own case, I had to split, but for you, you might just list your publication one, two, three, and list all the papers that you've published. You have to try as much as possible to format in an academic way. If you are using Vancouver or you are using Harvard Relevant style, try as much as possible to be consistent with the style. If you have book chapter, you can have different section for your books, for the book chapter. And in my own case, I have a section for my book chapters as well. If you have featured article, if you have been featured somewhere, you can also put that on your CV. You can list where you have been featured in the past, and you can put the link to the website and make sure that the link are actually clickable and they are all working. If you have received award and recognition in the past, you can also have a session for that where you actually list all the awards and recognition that you've received. If you have received funding for your research in the past, you can also include that on your CV. If you have received travel grants, there can also be a section for that on your CV. If you have volunteered in the past, you can also have a section where you're going to actually describe them in greater details. You can have a section for professional membership. So, what is important and what you will notice across all these things that I'm trying to showcase my academic skills, my academic experience as much as I can. Another thing that you can include at the end of the CV is your academic reference. But please, if you decide to add academic reference, make sure that you've contacted the person. They know you, they know all your names. Imagine if someone tried to actually contact those academic reference and they said they don't know you. Please, if you're adding academic reference, add people that know you, people that know that you added their name to your CV and that you can be contacted anytime. At best, if you're not going to include it, remove that from your CV. If you're going to include academic reference, please make sure that they actually know you, and they know all your name, and you have their permission to include them on your CV. And in fact, you get the right email address or information from them. It is very, very important. What you will notice about my CV, this particular CV, is that there's consistency in format. That's also very, very important. When they open your CV, is it easy to read? The outlook, is it consistent? You can see that you have to try as much as possible to make sure that your CV is consistent as much as possible in terms of structure, in terms of the way it looks, in terms of the point that you are making. Imagine if you are writing a CV, you see different font type. That's not a good way to write your CV. Make sure that your CV is consistent and it showcases your academic strength in the best light. Remember what I said earlier, try as much as possible to showcase your academic strength on your academic CV. Look inward. It is personal. There's no fixed structure. For some people, they don't have research grants. For some people, they've not been editors for a journal. Think about the best way you can actually showcase your academic strength, your research skills as much as possible. If you've not published a paper, you can have a session for your dissertation where you show your dissertation and you show possible skills that you've gotten from your dissertation. Just think about you and think about how you want to showcase yourself. This is just my own academic CV, and this has landed me different opportunities. Just pick one or two things from this, and of course, you cannot replicate or you cannot copy my own achievement. What you can easily do is for you to think about, you see in this sample, you can think about how you actually want to showcase your own achievement. I hope this video is helpful. Bye.